Hey, everybody. I guess, hey, y'all. I am back in Virginia, and it is the night before Christmas Eve. I thought I would go live real quick and just check in with you guys, see what's going on, talk about how cold it is here, and talk about my first year living in Thailand, see if you had any questions. There'll be a little pause here while I wait for people to log on. So if you're watching later, go ahead and scroll forward a little bit, and then you will be able to catch up on the video when something's actually happening. Sorry about the stuffy nose and froggy voice. It's, I don't know, like 4 below Celsius here in Virginia right now, so not like in the cold weather. Hey, Renee, thanks for joining. I hope it's warmer in Florida than it is in Virginia. Renee, will you let me know in the comments if the mic on this laptop is working? I'm just using the webcam today. I don't have the Osmo set up, so I'm not confident that you guys can actually hear me. Just going to talk a little bit about what the first year has been like and all that is going on. Awesome. Thanks. You can hear me. You are heading to Phuket in January. Hey, Philip from Sydney. You're moving to Jomtien in April. That's very cool. I'll be back in Thailand. We leave here January 4th. I will get back to Bangkok on the 6th and then leave again on the 8th, going on a little cruise. My oldest son is coming back with me. We're taking a cruise over in China. Phuket's great. It's going to be crowded in January. I know you're going to enjoy it. Tommy from Texas. Hey, thanks for joining. Guys, if you have any questions or anything you want to know, I don't really have a plan tonight. I hadn't been on in a while, so I thought I'd check in, say Merry Christmas to everybody, and see what's happening with y'all. J-Rock, it's snowing in Ontario. Yeah, I don't know that I'm sick as much as my body's just like, what in the heck is going on? It's not supposed to be cold. My kids are laughing at me because it's, 17, 20, whatever degrees, and I'm freezing to death, and it's 50 in the daytime and sunny, and they're like, oh, it's fine. I'm like, no, it's not fine. My body doesn't understand this anymore. If you've got questions, go ahead and kick them in the comments there. Happy to answer them, talk about anything you want. There's very little that would be off limits, but happy to help if you've got anything that you want to know about or tell me about. Renee, thinking of spending 2 weeks in Krabi, Phuket, and a week in KLC. Sorry, KLC's, I'm having a brain freeze. The only thing that's coming to mind is Kuala Lumpur, and that's not what you're talking about. I love Krabi. I actually like it more than Phuket. Phuket to me was tourist town. Things are a little bit more expensive there than they are a lot of other places. Just something to keep in mind if that's where you're heading. But I'm sure you've been there and you're aware if you're going. So a lot of fun, lots of things to see and do. They did have some water damage from all the rains a couple months ago. Okay, I was right, Kuala Lumpur. Okay, still on my list of places to go and see. But yeah, Phuket had some roads washed out down around Kata Beach, that kind of stuff. But I'll actually be there on the second cruise that my son and I are going. It's Singapore to Penang to Phuket, but we're just there for a few hours. It's not one of the places he's going to hit while he's staying with me in Thailand. He's going to come for about 6 weeks. Looking forward to that. I know he's really excited. But first year in Thailand for me has been great. It is it's the greatest thing I have done, short of when my kids were born. It's the best thing that's ever happened to me. I absolutely love it. It's so much more than I expected, more than it could have been, in my mind anyway. Budget wise, lifestyle wise, everything is so much better. So I'm in Virginia right now. I'm back for a couple weeks, back for the holidays. My oldest son is on the autism spectrum, so he was a little hesitant to fly 30 hours by himself to Thailand. So I flew home, spend the holidays with both my kids, and then I'll be flying back with him just to get him through those flights. The plan is he'll get used to it and then fly home alone. But if not, I'll have to be buying a last minute ticket. So I'm staying at a friend's house. They've been super gracious. I'm the classic, almost 60-year-old guy in a friend's basement right now. And they're just coming in from a night out upstairs. So if there's any noise in the background, it's just other folks in the house here. But really appreciate the hospitality that they're showing me, because other than that, I don't have a place to stay when I come back here. It's the first time I've been back in a year, and I can guarantee you I won't come back in winter again. What else y'all got going on? So let's see. Renee's going to Phuket. Renee, is that your first trip to Phuket? Have you been there before, or something you enjoy, or just checking it out for the first time? And Philip, you're moving to Jomtien. What other places did you look at before you picked Jomtien? Talking to you guys like you're still on. I'm assuming you're still there. I started in Jomtien when I moved in December last year, and I was there until May. I had signed a 1-year lease that would have been up in September, because I actually rented my condo on a September trip before. When I decided that's where I wanted to be, I locked it in off-season rates. Loved it. I was in Eris condo right there on the beach on the far end of Jomtien, down around Soi 17. Great for walkability. Really, really liked it. Then I found the 2-bedroom villa that I'm in now. It was 5,000 baht a month cheaper than my condo. It's not as walkable, but I do love it. I like the gardens. I like the quiet of Bang Sade and my little house. Bangkok and Pattaya last year, but first time at Phuket. Yeah, it's good to see the variety. You'll see it's very different than both of those places. Yeah, Thailand is awesome. It's cool that you and your wife both go and visit. I've met a couples lately. I don't know if it's just because I've got more viewers and I'm talking to more people, and more people are wanting to meet up when they come over. But a few couples that have moved together, and some that are just traveling and touring together. So seeing more couples, and it's not all just guys. So I'm really hoping that soon I will be able to coordinate some interviews and get back to podcasting and interview some women who've moved to Thailand on their own, or couples that have come to get a little different viewpoint than all the single guys. Do I use mail services, or does your family handle mail? Actually, where I'm staying right now, all my mail comes here. So it's my Virginia residence, since I moved and sold my condo here. Not only are they kind enough to let me stay here, but what little mail I get, and basically it's end of year tax documents will be coming in, that kind of thing. All my bank's information have been changed to this address. So it would just come here, but there's really nothing that I need to be forwarded. W-2s, 1099s, that kind of stuff. You can download all of those these days. It's not like in the past where you had to attach, staple a copy to your tax form, that kind of thing. With electronic filing and electronic W-2s, you don't even need paper copies of those. So in a year, I've not had any mail forwarded to me. There's nothing that I've needed. And I'm sorry if the camera's shaking. I've got my arms on the table and the laptop lid is vibrating as I move. I still talk with my hands. Yeah, so stayed in the condo until May, and then moved down to Bang Sade. Super quiet. I've gotten a little bit lazy. I'm not as close to the market as I was in Jomtien. So I guess I've just gotten in the habit of jumping on the motorbike and drive to the beach, drive to the market. It's certainly walkable. It's a kilometer away, uh, but I just haven't been doing it. So I've gotten kind of lazy. I know when I first moved, I dropped a bunch of weight that I needed to drop, and was getting in plenty of steps every day, 12, 15, 20,000 steps. And that's not happening now. So maybe 2025, that's something I'll get back to for the year, is getting my tail out on and walking a little bit more. But I definitely love it down there. It's quiet. It's very different. There are still plenty of foreigners in town, but it's just not as busy. It's more of a weekend beach town for Thai folks coming in from Bangkok and other places who will come down on the weekends. But nice, slow pace, quiet. I like going to the beach and just having coffee in the morning and hanging out a little bit. Or just spending time at the pool. And that's my office every day. I go to work on my tan at the swimming pool. Bang today, high on your list after your first year in Pattaya and Jomtien. Yeah, go down and check it out. It's a great little town. It's definitely a very different vibe than even Jomtien, right? So Pattaya is more like congested tourist. If you're there for a week, that's where you're going to be, and that's great because there's shopping there. That's a whole experience. Jomtien's a little bit quieter, and then Bang Sade further down is 2 or 3 more steps down on the chill ladder there. It's very quiet. It pretty well rolls up after dark. It gets nice and quiet out there. I enjoy it because I've never been into the party scene, the bar scene, that kind of stuff. But it's certainly an easy drive back to Jomtien or Pattaya, straight up Sukhumvit, and you're there. My Thai class was up off of Tepersit Road, so twice a week I was riding the motorbike up there, unless it was raining or something, or I just didn't want to go. So it's an easy commute. It's not hard at all. It doesn't take a lot of time. I sing in my car. All right, well, your mic is off, so no singing to us here. It's cold today. I'm in Virginia, and right now, let me look at the phone. Right now, it's -3 Celsius here, so I'm freezing, as you can tell. I'm inside, still got my hoodie on. Not that the house is cold. It's just me. But other than that, it's great. Enjoying spending some time with the kids and hanging out with them, and I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to get back to some warm weather and sunshine. But it's been cool in Thailand. So talking to a couple folks in Bangkok and in the Pattaya area, it's been in the low 20s. So low 70s Fahrenheit, upper 90s, upper 60s, low 70s at night. It's been pretty cool for about a week there. So it's been very comfortable. I know before I left, the mornings were great. It was getting down to 22, 24 at night. So 72, 74 Fahrenheit in the evenings, and I'd walk outside in the morning, open the doors every morning. It's the first thing I do, let some air in. It's like, oh, it's chilly out here. Goshen out near Roanoke, yeah, out on the southwest end of Virginia. I'm in Richmond right now, on the north side of Richmond. Actually took a drive out to Stanton over toward Charlottesville and stuff this morning, and back, running a quick errand with the friends here. What else has gone on in the first year? It's been pretty quiet for me, and that's what I was looking forward to. I've gotten a lot of people tell me, hey, you are not the same as you were a year ago. You're just completely different, right? And I feel that. I was telling my buddy today that for me, it's a strange feeling to me. It's a physical happiness that I haven't experienced before, and I'll just be driving out thinking, man, I love it here. Man, I love it here. It's a great life, and I really wish I could have done it sooner, or wish I had done it sooner. That's something I say to a lot of people. If they're thinking about it, check it out and figure out what it really costs, because if money is your only holdup, then chances are you can afford it. Jack Trip have you been to Hua Hin yet? Yes, I have, and I've got a couple of videos of that on the channel. I did a condo review. I did a house for sale, and I did some up in Cha Am too. I fully intended to do a vlog, and I had some great drone footage, but I just never sat down and edited it and put it together. I liked it down there. It's got kind of a Bang Sere laid back feel. It's quieter, more laid back than Jomtien. And I was there in the off season, so I can't really speak to how it is like now, peak season, and how much busier it gets. But great little town. I enjoyed it. I definitely want to go back down there and spend some more time down there. Thanks, Sing. Enjoying the videos for a few months. Hopefully I don't bore you to death tonight and you'll keep watching. But I just want to check in with you guys. It's night before Christmas Eve, and hadn't put any videos up. I know I was planning on shooting a ton while I was here. I haven't pulled the camera out. It is packed away right here. Hasn't come out of the bag yet since I left. Mike, yeah, sorry guys, bifocals. Mike, have you been to Kanchanaburi yet? Yeah, I have, and I've got a video up from visiting the bridge on the River Kwai there. Some nice drone footage in that, and a few places I visited. We did it as a day trip. Coy and I went on a day trip. We hired a car. He drove us around, took us everywhere we wanted to go, showed us everything there was to see in a day anyhow. Went to the temple in the cave, saw the train a couple times, went to a waterfall, which was odd because he's like, oh, go to this waterfall. It's better than the one that's more popular. And it was just a trickle of water coming over it that day. I was like, that kind of stunk. That's a hard pass next time. And the very next week they got hit with a lot of rains, and it was in the news that they were actually evacuating people from that waterfall in the park that's at the base of it because the water came so suddenly and people were stranded. And it was just completely flooded out. So it went from nothing to some pretty rough weather within a week. It's very pretty up there. Nice landscape. Singh says going to be coming in February, March. Going to do the DTV visa, not retirement age. Might be suit your needs best. First month in Bangkok, then I want to go to Chiang Mai. One of the great things about Thailand, and one of the reasons that I chose it was because of the variety of places within the country. It's a big country, right? So if you go north to Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai, Pai, and I've been to Pai and Chiang Mai already. Beautiful landscapes, and I went in the smoky season in April and still really enjoyed it. But it's cheap. You can fly Bangkok to Chiang Mai many times for like $30 or even less round trip. So it's cheap and easy to get around. Same thing. I was in Krabi a couple weeks ago. It was like $50 round trip ticket. It was the end of rainy season, so some off season prices still. But any given Sunday, $50, $60, $75, you can go anywhere in the country and back on a round trip flight. Got your passport last week. Spelled your last name wrong on your passport. Yeah, that's a no-go. You got to get that fixed because that'll cause you all kinds of problems later. So something to keep in mind, guys, if you're getting passports, visas, that kind of stuff, make sure all of the information is exactly correct, or you will get all kinds of headache from that later because nothing's going to match up. And you're thinking about the DTV. Yeah, so am I. My visa is up in March, and I was just talking about that today, whether or not I want to go DTV, 5-year visa, and through the agent, I think it's like 60,000 baht for a 5-year visa. My retirement visa first year was 35,000, so it's like buy 2 get 3 free. I may go DTV. I don't know. We'll see. There will be definitely a video on that whole thought process, and what I end up with coming. Probably in April once I've got it all figured out. Maybe I'll do a video going through the process and talk about the differences as I'm considering those. Jack says, do you have a Thai bank account? Yeah, I do. Super easy to set up. Agent set it up. It took about an hour. So when I came last year, I did retirement visa, bank account, and driver's license all at the same time. It was one price through the agent. She took me everywhere, got me through everything, and take you to land transport, get you in your test and back. Just for me, time is money, and I don't want to be wasting time sitting in offices waiting in line only to be told I filled a form out wrong or missed something and come back later. It was worth it to me to pay an agent to do that. I know a lot of guys will fuss and say, oh, you don't need an agent to do that stuff. It's a lot cheaper if you don't use them. I'm a big fan of doing it once, doing it right, and getting out of there. So to me, it was worth the money. I do have a Thai bank account. It's at Bangkok Bank, and it's super easy to open and move money in and out of through Wise transfer. And if you guys aren't familiar with Wise, in this video and all my other videos, there's a link down there. They just facilitate ACH transfers between their US bank and your Thai bank. The other nice thing is that money you keep on deposit at Wise is held in a high yield savings account. So they pay interest. I just got a notice the other day that the interest rate was dropping because interest rates in America are dropping. So it was 4%. It's down in the mid 3s now. But it's better than you're going to get in a savings account in the US. And you can also open foreign currency accounts there. Now, those accounts don't earn interest. So I've got a dollar account at Wise, and I've got a Thai baht account at Wise. And that's where I've talked in other videos how I'll buy baht, watching the patterns of when it's cheaper to buy baht, so you get more baht for your dollar. I'll buy that way and just convert from my US account to my Thai account when I get better rates that way. So that's how I use that. And then I just transfer it into my Bangkok bank account. You get a debit card from Wise too. And there's some, withdrawal limits, and it's fee free up to a certain point, but I've never used the debit card. Hey, Luigi, Merry Christmas to you too. Mike, saw your videos on medical insurance in Thailand. Thanks for them. Yeah, I actually just renewed my medical insurance too. That just came due because I'm at the 1-year anniversary. So everything that's good for a year is coming up for me. They had a flat rate 8% increase just for cost of living and cost of medical expenses across the board. But I didn't have any claims on my insurance last year. I went to the hospital twice, but just paid for it out of pocket because it was so cheap. So I got a 10% discount for not having any claims in the last year. So net down 2%. So it went up 8 and I got a 10% discount. So that worked out well. But it's definitely something to keep an eye on because the prices go up significantly as you get older. Your buddy said it was an adjustment period for motorbiking and getting used to grab and hopping on a motorbike. It's definitely an adjustment to drive one. Or to ride on one and put your life in the hands of the grab bike driver in front of you. They're fun to video. They can get exciting, not for the faint of heart. But yeah, it does take some getting used to. The driving over there is something. And I ride my motorbike. I don't like to drive after dark. I'm just getting to the point where I don't see as well after dark, and then being on a bike with very few lights and that kind of stuff. And I'm not usually out after dark anyway. In the winter now, it's getting dark earlier, but I'm usually even back from the market from dinner by 5 o'clock, 5:30. I'll just go early and get it. I definitely don't drive the motorbike on Sukhumvit after dark. I mean, that's just me. I don't feel safe doing it or comfortable doing it. So I would just take a taxi or grab or something after dark if I was going out. Yeah, saying back to your DTV, not near the retirement age. Yeah, so it's DTV. It could be the LTR if you qualify for that with income and that other kind of stuff. It might be a good option. And then the education visa also, 1-year visa, and same thing. You say you can come and get your scuba instructor certification. You can take Thai language class. Same as like DTV. You can take cooking classes and that kind of stuff. And get a 5-year visa, 6 months at a time. So it's definitely something I'm considering, and it may suit you very well. And then we say give you the option to visit other countries. I keep saying that's what I want to do, right? And I was like, okay, I'm going to go to Vietnam. Okay, I'm going to go to Vietnam. And then I was like, no, not this weekend. No, not that weekend. I got something, and I haven't made it yet. But the nice thing is with the DTV, you've got to leave the country at 6 months. It's good for 180 days at a time. So you've got to leave and come back. So it kind of forces you to travel a little bit, but it's super cheap. Like I was saying, to travel within Thailand, it's cheap and easy to go to the countries around. To fly out of Hong Kong cruise, I think it's $150 to fly to Hong Kong. It was $120 round trip Singapore for the second cruise. So getting around, once you get to Thailand, everything else is cheap. Getting there the first trip is the expensive part. McClintock out in Appomattox, you're just west on 460. Been out there many times, driven through there many times. Trying to keep up with all the comments, guys. I appreciate y'all joining. If I haven't said hello, thanks for joining. Merry Christmas to everybody. Tax season's coming. Any tax advice for an expat living in Thailand? No, I have any tax advice. And I hesitate to call anything advice. All I would say is, last year I filed electronically. Taxes came right after I moved there December last year. So taxes were due right then, filed electronically, no problem. I know the whole concept, or the whole, hullabaloo around Thai tax changes and that kind of stuff is wigging a lot of people out. I'm not worried about it, and it's just my mindset. If I owe taxes in Thailand at some point, I'm happy to pay them. I'm living there. I'm driving on the roads. I'm in it. I'd much rather pay my taxes in Thailand than here in the U.S. That's the part that drives me crazy. I'm still paying all these taxes here, and I'm not even living here, getting benefit out of any of that. So, I'm not worried about it. This year I technically worked. The bank was paying me up until June. So, I'll probably end up owing taxes here in the U.S., but after middle of June, my income dropped to next to nothing. And I've talked about in several videos about what income I do have now from dividend income and YouTube and things like that. So tax obligations will dwindle to nearly nothing, especially starting 2025. So Appomattox. First trip to Thailand this year, heading back in February. Can't wait. Yeah, great. What part of Thailand are you going back to? Where'd you go the first time? There are, but they're very hard to find. It sounds cold to say it, but bringing a pet with you overseas, it's going to be a headache. And 4-pound dog is probably not going to be, outside roaming much, but, unless you want it going on your balcony and cleaning up from there, if you haven't been, there are tons of dogs everywhere. So, walking your dog could be dangerous because of all the other street dogs, right? You don't know how they're going to react, how your dog's going to react, and you certainly don't want to be in the middle of a dog fight on the beach or on the some soy in Thailand. But to your question, yes, there are. You have to look and find them because they're few and far between, and many of them, like in Pattaya Jomtien, the Riviera group allows dogs. I think it's a 10-pound limit. You're not allowed to put them down on the property. They have to be carried at all times while you're on the property. So to take them to the bathroom, you've got to carry them down the hall, down the elevator, off the property, and find a place to walk them then. So when you think long and hard about how much you really want to bring a cat, a dog, any kind of animal pet with you overseas or to Thailand, because it can make life kind of difficult. Is my plan to stay in Jomtien long term or go explore other areas you might enjoy? I definitely am still in exploring mode, or at least traveling mode, visiting mode. I don't know that I would anytime soon move to any other area, just because I like the central, like geographically within Thailand. Pattaya Jomtien, very central, right? So I love the beach. I love the water. You're 2.5 hours to both airports in Bangkok. My house in Bang Sare is 10 minutes to Utapao. So, you got the flexibility of traveling anywhere, that, and then bus stations and trains. I like the locations. So it would take something significant to make me want to move somewhere else, at least in the short term. So I don't see that happening. I like the base that I'm in. So I think for at least as far as I can see, right now I'm not considering moving anywhere else. Columbia, South Carolina, been there many times. South Carolina heat has nothing on Thailand. This is true. Come April, it will be, I mean, it's nice and warm there all the time. But come April, when it's, 40 something degrees Celsius, so we're well over 100, and you add the humidity to that, and then April's the middle of burning season, so you add smoke to that. It's not real comfortable, especially in the north in Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai, northern Thailand. A lot of people, March, April, May, during the peak burning season, will leave, and they won't stay in the north for 3 months at a time because it's hot, it's smoky, you can't breathe, and they'll come to southern Thailand or go other places where it's cooler and the air quality is better. But like I said, I went to Chiang Mai and Pai in April, and it was smoky and it was hot, but I was fine with it. It wasn't, so smoky that, walking around choking or anything. It was usually in the mornings and the evenings. The smoke hangs a little bit more, and then middle of the day it would clear up. Your son's getting married this time. He's getting married in Thailand. McClintock went to Chompe, Lomsak, and Ayutthaya. The first two I don't know, but Ayutthaya I've been to twice, and I really like it there. I've always been a big history buff, so to go and see all of the old ruins in Ayutthaya, just something about it I really enjoyed. I was just there, it was maybe a month ago. It was in November because it was for Koi's birthday. We went up there and spent the night. It's an easy day trip from Bangkok. It's only hour and a half away. I like Ayutthaya a lot, and they've got a great light. They have festivals all the time, but they've got a great food festival. And then this time of year, they've got the big Heritage Light Festival or whatever it is. I know I'm wrong name, I'm sure, but it's all food, and all of the old buildings are decorated with lights, and they do shows from like ancient Thailand, that kind of thing. Really, really pretty. I like Ayutthaya a lot. Looks like 11 people watching now. Who else is out there? What other questions you got? Happy to answer anything. Upcoming plans for me, like I said, my son is coming back with me, so January and February, at least until middle of February when he goes home, we're going to be quite busy. Like I said, we've got the bookends on his trip, our cruises. So some foreign travel, which is great because I haven't, other than I took one trip back to Portugal this year. Other than that, I haven't been out of the country since I got there. I haven't really done as much in-country travel as I had hoped. I've just been kicking back and relaxing and enjoying the peace and quiet. But hopefully coming up, once he goes home, I'll finally make the trip over to Vietnam and maybe see what else I can get into, get some more travel. Now, I mentioned on my last video or the one before, probably going to dial back the number of condo videos that I'm doing, and focus a little bit more on just what life is like and traveling around. So as far as the channel goes, that's the, and I wouldn't even call it a big change, right? Instead of doing one every week, maybe I'll do every other week. And then fill those gaps with more travel stuff or just more lifestyle stuff. It's just, I enjoy those more, and I never wanted the channel to be a real estate channel. I know a lot of people like it. I know when I was planning to move, those were important to me. It's your biggest expense. So I like doing them. I think they're very helpful. I want to pass that information on. but sometimes they can be a lot like work. They're harder to edit and then schedule things with agents, and the agents scheduling things with condos to go and see. The days I'm doing those, I don't feel real retired. What airline do I usually use to from Thailand to the States? Whatever's cheapest. Um, I like to fly Qatar and Emirates just because they're so nice. The service is great. The flight attendants are awesome. They're super attentive. They're super polite. And if you compare those to an American-based carrier, September when I went, I wasn't paying attention to the reservations I made, and 3 of the legs were on Qatar, and they partner with American Airlines, and one of the legs was on an American Airlines branded plane, and it was noticeably different. The flight attendants' attitudes, their appearance, the food you get served, everything about it was much lower standard than what you see on Qatar or Emirates. But even Qatar's been kind of going down lately. A couple of the planes I've been on have been looking kind of, I don't want to say ratty, but they're not as pristine as they were a couple of years ago. But I like to fly them. It's a little bit cheaper though. I think if you go west, like Japan Airlines or ANA, if you go to the west coast of the U.S. that way, those flights tend to be cheaper. Like I'm looking at flights to come back here in May when my youngest graduates, and they're about $300 cheaper than going to the east and going with Qatar or Emirates or American or anything else. So just something to keep in mind. Just look at your options if you're not sold on any brand, or if you don't have big status on one of the other carriers, take whatever's cheapest. Fun random question. Okay, we'll see. What's my favorite Thai dish? And I'm never going to eat this again, Thai dish. Asking for science. Favorite Thai dish that's a hard one to answer because I love Thai food. And a lot of times I'll go to the market and I'll be honest, folks, I don't know what I'm eating. It looks good. It smells good. So I just order it and eat it. I really like crispy pork. So pretty much crispy pork, anything, crispy pork pat kapow, put crispy pork in the dish, and I'm going to choose that probably over anything else. But you get sick of that after a while. So there's a lot of food that I like, and I have no idea what it is. Never going to eat that again. Not necessarily Thai dish. Durian, the durian fruit. I can't do it. It's just I can't do it. I tried it in Bali when I was there several years ago, and folks in Thailand, oh no, our durian's much better than Bali durian. I mean, it still smells like a corpse that's been out in the sun for 2 weeks. And it probably tastes the same too. Not that I can actually compare the two, but every time I eat that stuff, oh no, I can't do it. So durian's definitely a no-go, but I don't like avocado either. So maybe it's just me. I think for a long flight, I'm choosing business class. Yeah, business class is great. I would love to fly business, but when it's like $3,000-$4,000 more for 10 rows up, I know laying flat and that kind of stuff. Much as I would like to, it would have to be an upgrade for me because I just can't see spending the extra money for a few hours of a little different seat on a plane. But again, that's just me. Maybe it's me being cheap. I don't know. But I just don't. A lot of people have this, and I don't remember what it's called. There's a term for it, right? Your coasting amount or your whatever. There's this dollar amount where the experts say that's your number, and when you hit that, you can retire. Dollar amount was not the driver for me. Like, okay, I've hit the bar, now I can retire. The driver for me was I'm sick of working, and I don't want to do it anymore. And, I want to retire. And I knew the cost of living everywhere other than America for the most part was better. So I was pretty much, resigned on that retire somewhere else. But honestly, I had no idea Thailand was as cheap as it is, and it keeps coming in cheaper than I expected. So right now, my fixed monthly expenditures run about $700. That's rent, that's water, electricity, health insurance, gas for the motorbike, all your basic regular monthly expenses. I'm paying $700, $800 a month, and I'd hoped for $1,500. So I'm well below that. It was like, okay, and you see these videos about you can live on $1,000 a month. Can you really? Yeah, I do, and I'm comfortable for me. Some other people want more activity. They want to do more. They want to live nicer places. I've just never been one to live in a big fancy house or need frilly things, expensive things. I'm a borderline minimalist. I'm just things don't really matter to me, so it doesn't take a lot to make me happy. I'm good with the basics. So the dollar amount really depends on your standard of living, and how you want to live in your retirement and whether or not you're going to have any other income coming in. But definitely look around, and I talked about it in one or two other videos. If you're talking with a financial advisor and they're telling you how much you need to be able to retire, they're probably thinking about on U.S. cost of living or your home country cost of living, and not giving you advice on how much you need to retire in whatever country you're looking at. Go there, live there for a while, check it out, and see how expensive or inexpensive it really is. It's probably the best advice I can give, and then figure out from there when you've got enough. Because I know when I hit Thailand, I was like, man, I'm living off of savings because I'm not eligible for Social Security until I'm 62. But I have, spending $700 a month. I've got plenty of money in my savings to last me for years beyond 62. So other than YouTube and investment income and that kind of stuff, I don't have any money coming in. But I'm not scraping to get by. I'm enjoying life. I have everything I want. I do what I want to do. I spend what I want to spend. Money makes it easy, but it was never a big driver for me. I'm dancing around your question. There's no real dollar amount. Anyway, do what works for you. Let's see. Do I have a pension and stuff? I don't have a fixed pension. Everything I had was self-funded. So I was in law enforcement for about 15 years. And then I went into banking and financial crime stuff. In law enforcement, I specialized in white collar crime, money laundering, that kind of thing. So I got into financial crimes in banking and financial crimes compliance, customer due diligence, anti-money laundering, that kind of stuff. So most of my money came from 401s that all got rolled into an IRA when I left my last job. And I was looking today, talking to my buddy here, and in the year that I've had control of the money and out of the 401, I've almost doubled it. But we had a stellar year in the stock market this year, at least for me. So that's been nice, and it definitely added that much more cushion to it. But that's after retirement. So no pension, no fixed income supplement, like I said, until I Social Security at 62. And I'm going to take it at 62 because why wait, right? Yes, it's a reduced amount, but bird in the hand, time value of money and all those other calculations. Yeah, crispy pork. Definitely try the crispy pork. I love it. Try the durian. And you see, durian's one of the things I want to try. Try it. I can't stand it. Koi loves it. Many Thai people love it. Many people love it, not just Thai people. It's one of those, you love it or you cannot stand it. And you can smell it from a mile away. So if you don't like it, it'll be all around you. Steve, welcome. Merry Christmas. Just moved to Prachuap Khiri Khan. Nice. Nobody discusses air quality in Thailand. Having asthma issues. Per the map, whole country's under smog cloud. Yeah, so I've talked about it a couple times. Like when I was in the condo in Jomtien, I gauged air quality by opening the curtains in the morning. And if I couldn't see the tip of land at Satahip, I knew the air quality was bad. And looking the other way, there were days like you couldn't see Koh Lan. it's bad. And I was actually just talking about that this morning with my friend when we were driving out to the mountains here. And I was like, yeah, there were mornings where I'd wake up and, heiress condos right on Beach Road, maybe 100 yards to the edge of the water, and I couldn't see the water. So it definitely gets bad. PKK, not as bad as the north, not as bad as Pattaya, but the smoke's pretty much going to hit everywhere. There's smog everywhere, and then you add the heat on top, like we were talking earlier, March, April. That really adds to it. So asthma can be a problem, and anybody with any kind of breathing problems, Thailand may not be the best place for someone with any kind of respiratory issues. But I mean, so Thailand smoky season, go to Bali or something, take a couple months and go somewhere else. Travel is cheap, and you can swap rainy seasons when it's rainy season in Thailand. Go hang out somewhere else for a couple months, or when it's rainy season in Bangkok, it's sunny in the south. Like right now is rainy season down in Phuket and Phi Phi Islands, that area. So even within Thailand, there are different rainy seasons, and a lot of people aren't aware of that. Khao soy chicken, oh my gosh, yeah, ate a lot of that on my trip up to Chiang Mai. So it's a northern Thailand dish, and it is awesome. I definitely enjoyed that. So if you guys run across khao soy or you're up in northern Thailand, Chiang Mai area, yeah, Rick, and I'm sick of working isn't a realistic driver for most people. Most people still need to work. Yes. But for me, when I discovered that I could afford to not work by moving to Thailand, and then coupled with the fact that my job was being eliminated and that kind of stuff, I was ready to go. And doing the math, I was able to go. So it just worked out for me. I had 2 years left in my plan. I wanted to wait until my youngest is going to turn 18 in March, and he graduates next May. That was my date then. Was okay, after he graduates, then I'll go. But I came back from that last trip to Thailand in September when I was just out checking things out and was told my job was going away. So by December, I was there. So it's just one of those things that worked out for me. But yeah, I understand just because you don't want to work doesn't mean you don't have to. I guess the point I was trying to make was you may not have to work as long as you think if you're planning on moving somewhere else, because you can live on a lot less. No, and I was making good money, but I wasn't making a really huge income. Like I mentioned a minute ago, in the last year, I've doubled my 401 just from investments I was making. So that has helped a lot, and it makes things, certainly it's more breathing room when you've got that extra cushion, but it doesn't take a lot. At $700 a month, it doesn't take a lot. You still need emergency fund and that kind of stuff. But if you're not spending a lot, it doesn't take a lot. Yeah, Robert, summer in Thailand is winter in Bali. Most people don't realize Bali is southern hemisphere. It's amazing what a 3-hour plane ride will do for you. And a lot of people will do that. They'll switch between Thailand and Bali just because you can flip seasons like you're talking about and escape the heat or escape the rain and go to the other. Do I take any Thai lessons? I took, I bought 60 hours of class, and that's kind of the way they did it in a lot of the Pattaya area. You go in and you buy hours, and then you just go to classes until those hours are gone. I didn't find it that useful, and I think a lot of it, I think it was two things. The teaching style is memorization, and that doesn't work real well for me. So when I learned to speak Spanish, I was taught like we teach our kids how to speak English. You talk about things, you point, you show them things, and it's not memorization, right? Oh, look at the kitty. Do you want to pet the kitty? And from that, the child figures out Daddy's holding this thing in his hand. That must be a kitty. That's how I learned Spanish. So memorization didn't work well for me. And some of the instruction where I was going was pretty disorganized early on. Every 2 weeks we'd have a different instructor in, different teaching style. So I did take lessons. It didn't help a whole lot. It didn't get me where I hoped to be after all of that. I will probably take some more, but I'll have to keep looking around and looking for a teacher or a school that has a little different teaching style that would help me learn better. And then on top of that, when you're like, this isn't for me, I didn't study as much either, so I could have done more on my own. So not all the school's fault. Certainly, I had issues of my own with motivation. Math, make a little effort, even if that. But the end of the year. For me, I use a Visa agent. We were talking about that a little bit ago. I'll just, when the time comes, I'll just give her my passport and pay for it, and it will come back in a couple of days. So there's really not a whole lot of headache to it. Doesn't take a lot of time. And then we talked about also the new DTV 5-year visa, and you just have to leave the country at least once every 180 days, and then you're good with that. And there's no 90-day check-ins there. So they're making it a little bit easier, but I mean, yeah, it would be nice to have, and you could always go with the elite visa, right? Or the privilege visa, they call it now, and they offer up to 20 years. They've got 5-year, 10-year, 20-year visas that cost a lot more, and you get free golf and expedited processing at the airport or whatever, and you pay for that. So there are long-term visas available, but even the 1-year retirement visa, there's really not that much to the renewal process. And a lot of people do it without an agent, and they get through it in a day or so. And I guess once you've done it a couple times, it's that much easier. Some people need to work because it's all they have. People die soon after they retire because it was their life. Yeah, it's surprising. A lot of people, like, if I wasn't working, what would I do all day? Or when I retire, how will I fill my time? Somebody asked me the other day, what do you do all day? I'm like, I don't know, whatever I want. I'm usually up having coffee by 7 o'clock or so. You get into a routine. I'll check, how the markets were overnight. I'll look at the news. I'll look and see if I sold any t-shirts. I'll check comments from YouTube overnight when you guys were awake and I was asleep, and I'll try and answer those comments or respond to them. And then, if I have language class, or I got to go to the market, or I want to hop on the bike and drive to another beach somewhere, or got to go shopping for something, or go tour around, go out to, Buddha Mountain or whatever, that time just passes. And, like I was saying earlier, I'm fairly low maintenance. It doesn't take a lot to appease me or make me happy or fill my time. So I don't have to be going all the time. But some people are, go. And that's great. There are plenty of things to do if you like to golf, or if you have any other, I was going to say habits. That wouldn't sound right. Hobbies, I think, is the word I wanted. If you've got hobbies or something, pretty much whatever you're doing now, you can do there too. But yeah, it's unfortunate that, especially in America, one of the reasons is because it's so expensive. People can't afford to retire, so they work until they die. Matthew, if you're not watching the comments, Robert says hello. Yeah, I know stream quality is low. I mentioned earlier, I'm at a friend's house and I'm downstairs right now, so that it's good and quiet for y'all. But I think it's hurting the Wi-Fi signal, so it's a little rotten tonight. Rick, Thailand clearly doesn't have good Wi-Fi quality. We are learning that now. I'm not in Thailand right now. I'm in Virginia. I'm in America. When I'm at home, I have great Wi-Fi. So, like I said, I'm in the downstairs level of their house, and the router's upstairs. So I'm sure that's affecting things. Yeah. So Merry Christmas to you too. We are coming up on an hour, guys, and it's 11 at night. It's way past my bedtime. I'm happy to take a couple more questions, and then I will say Merry Christmas, and I'll be going to bed here shortly, especially if the Wi-Fi is giving y'all some frustrations. So if you've got a last minute question you want to pop in the comments, happy to answer it real quick. But otherwise, I'm going to wrap it up here soon. We talked a little bit about first year here and some of the plans for next year. The channel has done better than I expected. I'm somewhere, I think I'm just about to cross 7,600 probably tonight. And I was hoping for 5,000, saying it's just a random number, 7,600 before the end of the year. It'd be great, get 12 or 15 next year would be awesome. So I hope you all stick with me, and we'll see where things go next year. If I just turned old enough, the Thai retirement visa the other day. Well, welcome to 50. And yeah, get retired and you'll be good to go. But yeah, y'all, if I'm not if I'm not live again from here, when I don't post anything between now and when I get back, and with all the travel I've got coming, I may not be on much until probably middle of January when we get back from that first cruise. But I appreciate y'all. I'm thankful that y'all have subscribed, and that right now we're back at people watching. So last chance, if you've got questions or want to chit chat about something, I'm happy to stay. But if Wi-Fi quality is down and y'all are out of questions, then we'll just call it a night. All right, everybody. Thanks for jumping on here, and again, thanks for watching all those videos. I hope you'll stick with me. Merry Christmas, everybody, and I'll see you when I'm back in Thailand. What is it? See you in the next one? Okay.